communication, differences in meaning.
You know, in my family, when I grew up, we said, you know, as we might plan something, we'll see. And there meant, you know, there's a pretty good chance that it's going to happen, like a 90% chance if my mother or dad said, we'll see, that, you know, it's probably going to happen.
Now, in my family, if I asked my mom, say, could I go to the mall with my friends on Saturday? And she said, we'll see. I knew what that meant. That meant probably not. But she just didn't want to get into that discussion right now. But I pretty well knew, but not much point in even asking again because the answer was going to be no.
So here, can you imagine Ed and Rhonda sweetly in love with each other in the first few years of marriage? Rhonda asks me something and...
We were slow learners on this.
And I said, we'll see. And she starts getting sad. And sometimes cries. And I go, I said we'll see.
I know, you said we'll see. And put the shoe on the other foot. Suppose he had a button off of his shirt. And he asked me that morning, do you think you'd have time to sew this button back on for me today?
And she says,
I didn't want to tell him that I really didn't think I'd have time, so I said, I'll see.
I'm thinking, good, that'll happen, I'll wear that shirt tomorrow.
He comes home and he says, I thought you said you'd sew the button on my shirt today. I said, no, I said I'd see.
Well, doesn't that mean you'll do it?
It took us a lot of years to figure out that why we kept butting heads over this one little phrase, I'll see, or we'll see.
And you know, I'd say not a week goes by, and we've been married now 36 years. A week doesn't go by when, you know, we'll say, we'll see, and I say, is that a your family will see, or a my family will see?
We still say that, and there's probably something, if you start thinking about it, there's going to be some phrase, some words between the two of you that have different meanings to you.
So one of your experiments and your date night suggestions out of our time together today is talk with your husband or your wife over dinner and find out, are there things that you kind of are aware of now because we told our story that are differences in how you use a phrase or a word? Because, you know, we're oftentimes a couple separated by a common language. Because we grew up in a different country of our family, even though we may have been in the same literal country or same state in the U.S. growing up, we still come from different homes as if we are from different countries.
The research shows that women typically utter about twice as many words in a day as men do. And I see a lot of nods here.
You got it, guys.
Although I did say that I read somewhere, somebody said, no, that's not true. It's just that the husband's used all his up during the day, and when he gets home, the wife still has 98% of hers left to use, so it just seems that way. But those differences in that make a difference in how ready someone is to hear, to listen, to communicate.
If you're going to make your love last for a lifetime, remember, ladies, you are better at sustained verbal engagement. How do you like that for a euphemism for an argument? Verbal sustained engagement. In fact, if you ladies were in charge of the world, we might have fewer wars. But that's another topic. So anyway.
You know, women will just grab hold. It's like, no, let's keep discussing this. And we keep coming up with more parts to the argument or more words to say about the argument, whereas the man is ready to, you know, just turn the TV on and let me watch the news and get this over with.
I can't tell you how many times as a marriage counselor someone has said, I cannot let it go, and that's the female, because if I don't get this settled with him right now, he'll not bring himself back to this conversation again. And can you imagine why he wouldn't want to do that? So what I tell couples is try an experiment. If you want to have this argument fully right now and he wants to back away, there is some science research that I won't go into right now, but men typically don't handle conflict real well unless they're going to come to blows. That's not a good thing. We don't want that in marriage. And so men oftentimes back away from the conflict, one, because they verbally can't match what you're putting out, and secondly, because they're getting all stirred up and they can't handle that. It's flooding inside them, and they want to shut that and back down. So here's what, not back down as in, you know, coward, but just back away.
In other words, they want to clamp a
put a lid
on
on
the
it.
emotions.
Stop this. It's not good. It's not safe. I can't handle this. I don't want to tell you I can't, but I can't. And so what the idea is, here's an experiment. Try it. Next time you're in this conflict and either of you says, I can't handle this right now. However, 3 hours from now, or maybe it's 2 or 3 days from now, and put it on the calendar. We will talk about this. And you can meditate and contemplate, and I bet you in 3 hours or 2 days or on next Saturday, you're going to be in a lot better frame of mind to listen to your spouse. And here's the catch, guys. If your wife is willing to experiment and literally hit the pause button and delay the conversation, then you make it 100% commitment that come Saturday, 3 o'clock, when you agree to get together, you come back to that discussion. And you might bring a phrase or two or a note or two with you that helps you keep constructively engaged. Because remember, this is the wife of your youth that you chose to marry, that you have been and hopefully will always be madly in love with, even though you're very mad over the issue. You want to be madly in love, not mad. So try my experiment. Rhonda and I found it works. Hit the pause button. But guys, here's the deal. If you're to be trusted again, you really have to follow through and come back to the discussion. Guarantee you, that will bless you for a lifetime of love.